Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. Now, we know that the SNP absolutely loathe the House of Lords. And that's why, of course, they never put anyone up to go up to be a Lord. They don't like the thought of that. Much so, I must admit, to the major chagrin of Ian Blackford. He'd love to be a Lord. He's desperate to be a Lord. He's hoping somebody will give him it. But that's a different video for a different day. Their argument is that it is an outrage to democracy because you have all these unelected people making and shaping laws in Britain, shaping government policy and changing things and whatever. They have this influence, even though they're not elected. And they say it's democratically, it's outrageous. They're right. However, given that fact, it makes you wonder why they have so many special advisors in Holyrood doing exactly the same thing. And yet they're not outraged by that. They're not outraged by having all their policy wonks and their bag carriers having this say and changing government policy, even though those people also weren't elected. And what's worse, why is the whole of the Scottish government now enthralled and being directed by a councillor, by a local councillor? Yes, it's true. There's a little woman in Dundee who's now effectively telling the SNP what direction to take. Her name is Nadia El-Nakla. And she, of course, is the woman married to the previous leader. And she somehow has found herself in the position of being the dictator of the SNP. Hamza Yousaf must be doing as he's told as well. Seems very odd, doesn't it? And it just doesn't seem particularly democratic to me that you got a woman who's elected to a local council is now shaping policy at Holyrood. But there we go. Being a Dundee councillor has its perks, I suppose. It's the only qualification you need, isn't it? Become a Dundee councillor, run the country. Marvellous. And it's becoming a problem for the SNP because there's some people in the party who don't like it. There's some people in the party who think she should have no influence whatsoever. There's a lot of people outside the party who think she should have no influence whatsoever. And it is causing yet another rift, yet another division. And it's not looking good. Let's put it this way. John Swenny buckles under pressure from her with regards to Egypt. He initially was on Israel. He initially said that it was outrageous what had happened to Israel, blah blah blah. And now all of a sudden, the ex-Muslim in chief's wife has said, "No, John, that's not the tone. That's not the tone we're taking now. We have to change it. Israel bad, Jews bad, only Muslims good." And he's changed his stance. And this, like I say, this whole issue is threatening to tear the party apart. Again, another one. Robertson's job is on the line now, but Swinney can't fire him. A, it was Swinney who told him to do it, have that meeting with the ambassador. And B, Robertson's been there a long time. He will spill the beans on a lot of things if they get him out the wrong way. They've got to play him with kid gloves. He's really in charge. And of course now he's been forced to say, sorry, won't do it again. But that's as far as you're going to get with him. But you're wondering now if Nadia is actually after his blood. Seems very, very weird. But she's influenced, of course, because the Scottish people, through the taxpayers, had to fork out an unknown amount of money, probably closer to $1 million in the end when it all comes out, to pay blood money to the Hamas people who were holding her parents hostage. But fortunately, the good people of Scotland decided that, yes, it was worth paying all that money to these terrorists to make sure that Nadia's family got out. I wonder if they do the same for anyone else. I suspect not. I suspect definitely not. But for some reason, having your husband as the First Minister meant that that was already an easy to happen. And I do hope it's fully looked into. And if he has funded terrorism, the pair of them go to jail. I think that would be quite right. And this is another part of the problem. Why are the Scottish people paying this money? She's already had enough out of Scotland. She should shut up and bugger off, seems to be the feeling. Not invite this woman to give even more power than elected MSPs. It's rotting. The whole of the SNP is rotting in the full glare of publicity. Why is someone not elected to the to Parliament not? Why is she having this influence? Why is she having this power? It's not as though her husband's in charge anymore. You don't even get that. So you've got the Scottish government now not even going to be willing to talk to Israel, not going to be regarding them as anything, treating Jews as pariahs because of this woman. And it's very, very strange that this is the direction of travel. Why would you let this woman have this amount of power? Are these people, is Swinney and Robertson and all the gang at the top, are they all so feckless? Are they all so powerless and ballsless and spineless that they can't make decisions for themselves? Or is it they don't want to be seen to be making the decisions? They're cowardly. That's what it is. They're cowardly, aren't they? Of course, they shouldn't be doing anything with Israel anyway, because they don't have a foreign policy. That's a reserved matter to Westminster. So who knows? But it is telling. These people are just constantly pushing the envelope, changing the rules to suit themselves, and then sitting on one hand and saying, the House of Lords is bad, while taking instructions and obeying, taking the knee to Nadia El-Nakla, a woman who won't even take her husband's name. Although you can't guarantee how long they're going to be married. Still haven't seen the little Messiah, have we? Haven't seen him. He's been kept quiet. But the Nats seem to have said, right, the most important thing in Scotland now is Gaza. Not the NHS, not education, not the roads, not communications, not the economy, nothing. No, Gaza. Everyone in Scotland's got to be fighting for Gaza. Gaza's the only important thing in Scotland now. I bet if you ask 99.9% of Scots, no, it ain't. Never in a million years. They don't care. Don't give a about Scotland, do they? Who cares? None. And yet the SNP seem to pick this up and run because Nadia El-Nakla said that's what you have to go with. That's what people care about. No, Nadia, it's what you care about. Nobody else does. When you're sitting there waiting for your child to go in and can't get a space in a hospital, and you're watching your child sitting there dying slowly of some awful thing, that's what they care about. They don't give one flying shit about a bunch of child murderers in the Middle East. Unbelievable party. Let's listen to what the wise woman says. Is that the wise woman who funds terrorism? That's the one, allegedly. Anyway, we'll leave that there. But it is just weird, isn't it? It's just a totally incompetent bunch of corrupt wankers in Scotland now running it. So, till next time, stay safe, stay well. Don't pay attention to Nadia, for God's sake. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She's a Dundee councillor, not the wise one. Till next time, bye.